Let us look at an example on the concept of exemption of interest income for section 10(4). Mr. Abhay is a UK tax resident since 2001 and is also a non-resident for FEMA 99 purposes during financial year 16-17. He holds an NRE account with ABC New Delhi branch. Interest on such account during financial year 2016-17, whether such interest would be exempt. Now in this particular case, every time you get a question like this, you should recall in your mind what are the conditions for exemption. The first condition is that the interest should be on an NRE account. Since it is on an NRE account, this condition is satisfied. Second is the bank account should be in India. Now again, if I look at this bank, this is in India, so that condition is also satisfied. The third is that the person who is receiving interest should be an individual. Again, this person who is receiving the interest is an individual, and therefore even this condition is satisfied. And one of the other important condition is that he should be a non-resident for FEMA 99 purposes. We don't need to do this in terms of the calculation or ascertaining. ये हमें already दिया हुआ है कि ये non-resident है FEMA 99 के purpose के लिए. क्योंकि सारी condition satisfy हो गई हैं, इसलिए ये interest income exempt होगी अभय के हाथ में for financial year 16-17. Interest income earned by a person resident outside India on money credited in NRE account shall be exempt from tax under section 10(4)(2). Since Abhay is a non-resident in India both for tax and FEMA purpose, such interest shall be exempt from income tax for AY 17-18 under section 10(4)(2). Second question. Sita and Geeta are joint holders of NRE account in Indian bank. Again, both are individual, but they are joint holders of an NRE account in India. Both are tax residents of UK since 2005 and also non-resident for FEMA purpose for financial year 16-17. FEMA के लिए भी ये दोनों non-resident हैं और tax के लिए भी non-resident हैं. They earn interest of 1 lakh on NRE account during financial year 16-17. Whether such interest income would be exempt or taxable as income of AOP in their hands. क्या ये interest income exempt होगी उन दोनों के हाथों में, या अगर taxable है तो AOP की income होगी या नहीं होगी. Like I told you a short while ago, in view of the CBDT circular, just because two people are receiving some income jointly, they have a joint account, that does not mean they constitute an AOP. Right? So the only question that remains is whether this is exempt or taxable. To see whether this is exempt or taxable, we need to see the conditions of all the conditions of this section, both for Geeta and Sita. अगर हम देखें कि NRE अकाउंट है या नहीं, yes. ये लोग इंडिविजुअल है या नहीं, ऑब्वियसली. बैंक अकाउंट इंडिया में है या नहीं, yes. दोनों फेमा के लिए नॉन रेजिडेंट है या नहीं, yes. सारी कंडीशंस तो सेटिस्फाई हो गई, और अगर सारी कंडीशंस सेटिस्फाई हो गई हैं तो इंटरेस्ट इनकम एग्जेम्प्ट होगी. Like I said, CBDT has clarified that joint holders of NRE accounts do not constitute an AOP by merely having these accounts in joint names. Since Sita and Geeta have been person resident outside India for FEMA, such interest income earned in joint NRE account would be exempt from tax in their hands. Should we see one more example? Mr. Sham is a resident of USA since 2001. He holds an NRO account with ABC Bank New Delhi branch. Interest of rupees 1 lakh was credited to such account during financial year 16-17. Whether such interest income would be exempt. Exempt under this particular section. Now under this section, which income is exempt? Interest on which account? NRE account. Here, which is the account? NRO account. Will it be exempt from tax? No, at least not under this section. I don't need to look at all the remaining conditions because the fact is the account on which the interest has been received is not eligible for exemption. Interest income earned by a person resident outside India on money credited in NRE account shall be exempt from tax. In this case, interest was earned on money standing to the credit in NRO account and not NRE account. Therefore, Shyam cannot claim exemption from income tax on interest income on NRO account for assessment year 2017-18. Interest on saving certificates. Now, the government earlier used to issue saving certificate from time to time. The idea was that if there is a person who's saving some money, let that money get deployed into government projects through these saving certificates. So therefore this exemption was given. An individual being citizen of India or a person of Indian origin. So अगर कोई इंडिविजुअल है जो इंडिया का सिटीजन है या फिर ही इज अ पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन. पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन कौन है? या तो वो पर्सन खुद या उसके पेरेंट्स. पेरेंट्स मतलब कोई भी पेरेंट्स, मदर फादर, या कोई भी उसके ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स. अगर अनडिवाइडेड इंडिया में born हुए थे, then he is called a person of Indian origin. Either he or either of his parents or either of his grandparents, they were born in undivided India. Then a person is called a person of Indian origin. So if there is an individual who is a citizen of India, may or may not be a tax resident of India, a person of Indian origin who is a non-resident. Now here I said a citizen of India, tax residency हो सकता है कि कुछ और हो, लेकिन इस लाइन को अगर हम देखें तो ये कंपलसरी है कि वो सिटीजन तो हो ही हो इंडिया का, साथ में नॉन रेजिडेंट भी हो टैक्स पर्पसेस के लिए, एंड ओरिजिनल सब्सक्राइबर ऑफ द सर्टिफिकेट. मतलब ये सर्टिफिकेट जो है इसी को इशू होने चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं है इसने किसी और से खरीदे हैं. Shall be entitled to claim exemption of interest on saving certificates issued before 1/6/2002 by the central government and notified by the central government in the official gazette. तो अगर एक इंडिविजुअल ने सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट्स खुद सब्सक्राइब किए थे और इस साल में जब उसको इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है उस साल में वो नॉन रेजिडेंट है प्लस वो सिटीजन है इंडिया का. एक नॉन रेजिडेंट इज कंडीशन 1 प्लस either he is a citizen of India or he is a person of Indian origin. ये दोनों और हैं बट ये नॉन रेजिडेंट होना मैंडेटरी है. एंड प्लस ही इज द ओरिजिनल सब्सक्राइबर ऑफ शेयर्स. अगर ये कंडीशंस पूरी हो जाती हैं देन he will be entitled to claim exemption of interest on saving certificates. कौन से saving certificates? Which were issued before 1/6/2002. By whom? By the central government and notified also by them. There are some additional conditions also, which is that in order to claim such exemption, the individual should have subscribed to such certificate in convertible foreign exchange. जब उसने ये सब्सक्रिप्शन किया था ये कन्वर्टेबल फॉरेन एक्सचेंज में होना चाहिए, रेमिटेड फ्रॉम अ कंट्री आउटसाइड इंडिया. और ये फॉरेन एक्सचेंज कहाँ से आना चाहिए? इंडिया के बाहर से आना चाहिए, इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द प्रोविजन ऑफ FEMA 99 एंड एनी रूल्स मेड देयर अंडर. एज पर एक्सप्लेनेशन टू सेक्शन 115C, अ पर्सन शैल बी डीम्ड टू बी ऑफ इंडियन ओरिजिन इफ ही, जो मैंने आपको यहाँ पे बताया था, और ईदर ऑफ हिज पेरेंट्स, दोनों में से कोई भी उसका पेरेंट, और एनी ऑफ हिज ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, कोई भी उसका जो ग्रैंड पेरेंट है, दे वर बोर्न इन अनडिवाइडेड इंडिया.